Glory Show. Welcome. Hey, listen, thank you so much for your hearts already. I already feel loved by you. Thank you. Thank you again. Welcome, Facebook Live. Welcome, Periscope. And guess what? Welcome to you all who are live streaming with us on YouTube. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I welcome you today to the Morning Glory Show, where in the morning all things are new. Our opportunities are new. Our joy is new, right? Everything is new. And so welcome to this day, a day that you have never had before, you've never seen before. And guess what? It is also a day that you will never see again. And so listen, today, I welcome your comments. I welcome your feedback. Listen, I welcome your engagement. Do me a favor. Go ahead. Hey, Miss Sheila, go ahead and absolutely share this broadcast so that we can get some folks on today. Thank you so much for the love. If you are on Facebook, share this broadcast. If you are on YouTube, share the broadcast. If you are on Periscope, share this broadcast, because today we want to talk about what to do when you are absolutely clueless. I don't know about you, but I have been in a lot of circumstances and situations where I did not know what to do at that particular moment. And so here's the thing. What do you do when you're absolutely clueless? What do you do? What do you do when the road doesn't look clear? What do you do, right? What do you do when it doesn't appear that that way of escape has presented itself? What do you do when it doesn't look like you have a direction? What do you do, right? Now, here's the funny thing. When we are giving advice, when someone comes to us and they say, I'm in this particular situation, whether it's with our finances, business, marriage, whatever the case may be, and they bring that situation to us, it is amazing the advice that we give, right? When they are asking what to do because they're clueless. Let me share with you some of the advice tips that we give them. We say, now listen, God will make a way. Don't we say that? We say, God, Sheila, don't we say that? We say, God will make a way. We say stuff like, while you're trying to figure it out, God has already worked it out. Don't we say that, Periscope? We say things like that. We also say, you know what? Let go and let God. Let go and let God, which is so interesting. All of those are great. When we don't know what to do in a particular situation and it doesn't look like God has given us any type of clarity, any type of direction, and he wants us to be still. So we tell people, listen, let go and let God, meaning that God has this. We say, listen, while you're trying to work it out, God has already figured it out. And what we're saying is, why are you worrying? Why are you walking in doubt? Why are you stressed out, right? We say, things like, you know what? God will make a way out of no way. Don't we say things like that? God will make a way. We give all of this wonderful advice. Thank you all so much for your love. We give all this wonderful advice until the situation come at our door, until the problem comes knocking on our door. Then for some odd reason, we throw all of that good advice out of the window, right? When it hits home, we begin to take on actions, that are in opposition to the advice that we've given somebody else. Instead, we try to fix the situation, right? Instead, we worry. Instead, we call up a friend asking for advice. And you know what? We can go on and on and on about all the things we do when a situation has come to our doorstep and we are clueless about it. We don't know what to do. We don't know where to go. We don't know who to turn to. We don't know which path or which direction to take. And so guess what? Now I revert back to my original question. What do you do when you are clueless? What do you do when you don't have a clear way out? What do you do when you don't know which way to go? What do you do? Well, it's so interesting because there is one simple answer. There is one simple answer. And the answer that God is telling us today is that we are to follow him one step at a time. I don't know what you were asking me to tell you. I don't know if you thought I was going to come up with this miraculous statement, even though I'm going to share with you how to make that thing happen. But I don't know if you was wanting me to come up with this miraculous statement or this secret potion or this pixie dust or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, when you don't know what to do, when you are clueless, when you don't have a direction or a path, a clear direction or a path to take, you know what you do? You wait on God and you follow God one step at a time. And so I just want to share with you really quickly something, a writing that I was literally reading just this morning, and it captured the essence of a God believer type of relationship, right? Are you all with me? You all kind of quiet. I'm going to read to you something that is literally going to have you look at this statement, follow God one step at a time, in a whole new light. Is going to capture the true essence of what a relationship look like between God and his servant, between God and the believer, right? Between God and the one who walks in faith. So listen to this. You all have probably seen this, but I want to read this and then I'm kind of break it down a little bit and we can have some dialogue. So I look forward to you all's comments, all right? It says, follow me one step at a time. That is all I require of you. In fact, that is the only way to move through this space time world. So here's the thing. The question is, why is that the only way to move? And the simple answer is, guess what? That statement is so profound because, see, the past is gone. You and I can't do anything about the past. Whatever mistakes we made, we can't change those. The only thing that you and I can do is learn from them. Guess what? When we talk about the future, you and I are not promised the future. So we don't even have access to look into, peek into the future to see how things are going to go. And so the only thing, honestly, that you and I have is the present moment that we are in, right? All we have is the present moment that we are in. And since that's what we have, that's what we have to take advantage of. And the only way to maximize and capitalize the time and space that we are in is to follow God one step at a time, right? Here, check this out. It says, you see huge mountains looming, right? You see the destruction. You see the problems. You see all the things that just don't look good and just don't feel good, right? He says, you see huge mountains looming and you start wondering how you're going to scale the heights. Isn't that what we do? Immediately when we see a problem brewing, we start trying to figure out how we're going to figure it out. What am I going to do? If it comes to me like this is the step I'm going to take. If it comes to me like that, this is the move I'm going to make. Isn't that what we do? We start trying to figure it out, trying to scale it out, trying to use our own strength to work this problem or circumstance or situation out of our lives before it hit us, right? But here's the thing. Meanwhile, and I'm reading, because you're not looking where you're going, you stumble. Because you're not looking where you're going, you stumble. Why do we stumble? We stumble because our eyes are not focused on God. We stumble because we're so busy looking at the obstacle that we forgot what the goal was. We stumble because we have allowed the problem to be bigger and larger than our God. So we stumble. But here's the beauty. He said that, and eventually you stumble onto the easy path where I am leading you. That's a beautiful thing right there. Because even though we stumble, God don't allow us to just land any old place. We land right on the path that he wanted us to take in the very first place. That's an amazing thing to know. How many of you all have stumbled in your lives and you thought it was over? You thought your life was over. You thought your reputation was over. You thought, internally you were suffering with guilt, embarrassment or whatever the case may be. But God says, even though you stumble, eventually you stumble on the easy path where I am leading you now. Eventually you get to where it is that he wants you to go. Even when at times we're not looking for him, we will go through enough bumps and bruises to eventually find him. At some point, there's a stop sign, right? That says, listen, there is a sign that says wrong way. And eventually we get back on the path. Listen to this. He says, as I help you get back on your feet, so he don't just leave us down. They say, a righteous man may stumble 7 times or fall, right? But guess what? He's going to get back up. He said, as I help you get back on your feet, you tell me how worried you are about the cliffs ahead. He said, now check this out, you all. But you don't know what will happen to today, much less tomorrow. Our path may take an abrupt turn, leading you away from those mountains. Do you see that? Do you see that? That is an amazing, profound statement, because guess what? He says there may be an easier way up the mountain than is visible from the distance. A lot of times we worry about things that never take place in our lives. You know, we see the mountain, and so we figure it's going to be tough to climb. It's going to be rocky. Rocks gonna be everywhere, stones gonna be everywhere, and God say you may see the mountain, but I may put a detour in your path that you never have to approach the mountain. So now you're worried about how you're gonna climb the mountain, and God, it ain't even in God's plan for you to reach the mountain. You see it, but it doesn't mean that you're going to go there. I don't know if you all have ever been to Colorado Springs. I went to Colorado Springs, right? And I could see the mountains with my eyes. They were massive. They were beautiful. They were huge. But guess what? I never got right up close to the mountain. It was in a far distance, even though it looked very close. It looked very close. It looked like if I drove maybe about 20 minutes, I can get to the mountain, when in actuality, those mountains were probably hours away from me. So I could see the mountain, but I never got to the mountain. Does that make sense? And so, see, you may see the problems, but the problem may really not touch your life like you think it's going to touch your life. Because God says, I'm actually leading you away from those mountains. I'm leading you away from the traps. I'm leading you away from your enemies. I'm leading you away from the naysayers. I'm leading you away from the betrayal. I'm leading you away from the things that you think you're going to have to walk through. Right? So sometimes we worry about things that are not even going to come to pass. When we worry, all we're doing is using our imagination negatively, because it hasn't shown up yet. All right. And so listen, he says there may be an easier way up the mountain than is visible from the distance, right? But he says, but if I do lead you up the cliff, if I do say, you know what, you're going to have to climb that mountain. Ain't no going under it. Ain't no going around it. You're going to have to climb that mountain. He says, but if I do lead you up the mountain, I will equip you thoroughly for the strenuous climb. Meaning that you are going to be enabled. You're going to be anointed. You're going to be appointed. You're going to have the provisions to climb the mountain in the event he wants you to climb that mountain. He said, I will even give my angels charge over you to preserve you in all of your ways. Keep your mind on the present journey, enjoying my presence. That's what God wants us to do. When we stick in his presence, when we stay in his presence, guess what? We become laser focused, and it becomes that much easier to follow him one step at a time, because we are in his presence. When we're in his presence, that means, guess what? God, I hear you in a nudge. God, I hear you in the message. God, I hear you in the wind. God, I hear you in your word. God, I hear you talking to me. And when you speak, I obey. Right? God says, walk by faith, not by sight, trusting me to open up the way before you. There's always light at the end of the tunnel if you're willing to see it. Right? There's always light at the end of the tunnel, because God says when you walk by faith and not by sight, because see, these eyes can confuse us. Right? They can confuse us. Just because we think we see what we think we see may not be what really is, because God can do more than one thing with one particular situation. God spoke and things just changed, right? And so here's the thing. With that being said, I want you to do a really quick flashback on your life. Do you have any situations, and y'all ain't really talking to me today, do you all have any situations, any circumstances in your past life? See, we're doing a flashback because I want to show you something. Do you have any situations in your life that prove or give credit to what I just read? That, guess what? Sometimes we see mountains and we think it's going to be harsh and tough, but God never allow us to have to climb the mountain. He may allow us to see it, but we're not even we're not even going to get close because there's going to be a detour. Has that ever happened in your life? Or has it happened where God says, listen, I need you to climb that mountain. I need you to climb that mountain because it is going to work out for your good. And so since you had to climb the mountain, he equipped you. He put his angels in charge of you, and you got over that mountain that you didn't think you could climb just fine, right? Has that ever happened to you in your past life? Well, here's the thing. I need you to know this. If that has happened in your past life, then guess what? The word of the Lord says that I am the same God today, yesterday, and forevermore. So what he has done for you in the past, he is willing, able, capable, and will do in your present. And so here's the thing. Your marching orders is when you find yourself clueless and you don't know what to do. The path doesn't look clear. It doesn't look smooth. It looks very crooked. When you find yourself in that position, not knowing what to do, the instruction, your marching orders, is to follow God one step at a time, allowing him to bring you through like he has done in the past. That's your marching orders. Allow God to do what he has done for you in the past. So there's no need for you to try to figure it out. Yes, he's worked it out. Yes, you should let go and let God and know that he is able to make a way out of no way. So now from this point on, when you don't know what to do, don't get worried. Don't let your emotions fly off the handle. Just relax, reflect, and follow God one step at a time. Listen, enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you. Don't forget to share this broadcast because there are a lot of people walking around here today don't have a clue as to what they're even going to do today. But you know what? If they follow God one step at a time, they will get not only to a destination, but they will get to the best destination that God has for them. Because guess what? They get an opportunity then to live the abundant life that God has promised them. So listen, enjoy your day. I look forward to seeing you today at 12 o'clock noon for our Jewels of Success live coaching, where we deliver tips for you to get unstuck and become unstoppable. On this show, we marry the spiritual and the natural together because faith without works is dead. So this morning on the Morning Glory, we're going to give you all the spiritual development, but on that Jewels of Success live coaching, we're going to give you the personal and professional development. And when you marry them together, you will find that your life is happy. You will find that you are successful, and you will definitely find that you are fulfilled. So join me back here at 12 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have an incredible day. And listen, if you've missed any of the broadcasts, we did some amazing broadcasts yesterday. Go back through my timeline, all right? Go back through my timeline, get caught up, and I definitely look forward to seeing you all later on today. God bless you. Bye now.